Alright guys, so I'm going to be demonstrating this single bevel feeding technique. We've got a little piece of 6" Schedule 40 tacked up here, and I'll try and put my parameters up in the corner somewhere. But I've got 532 gap, 332 wire, and I'm running about 35 CFH on the purge and about 25 on my torch. So all you're going to need to do is, whenever you fire up on that tack, get it nice and hot, and then keep your wire on that top bevel. Get a nice keyhole going, and add enough wire to where it fills your keyhole up, and then wash it down and create another keyhole, and just keep repeating the process. Puts in a pretty consistent route, and and when you first start doing this, it might feel like you're adding a lot of filler into the puddle, but you're really not. And I'll show you here in a minute when I run up to this tack. It also don't matter whether or not you walk the cup or if you're free-handed. Right here I'm free-handed. Here in a minute I'm going to walk the cup a little bit. And just as long as you don't have your tungsten too far out, it's pretty easy to do walking the cup. You can see there I'm walking the cup right now. Probably could have turned up a couple amps or so. Main thing is just keeping that wire in there, making sure your keyhole don't open up too big. This is a fairly easy method of putting a root in on stainless and other alloys, but it's also not as fast as dipping or lay wire. I just prefer a bigger gap. And of course with stainless, you know, it's going to close up by the time you get to the top anyways. And I'm coming up on the tack right here, so I'm going to pop out. What I like to do on my tacks is I'll go ahead and cut them out and try and get as much of the burrs out as I can. But when you're keyholing like this, it's really easy to burn all those burrs out on the inside. As you can see there, root's going in there pretty good. Might have could have fed a little more on the bottom, but you know, it's never going to be perfect. And I reckon I forgot to record tying into that tack. Well, running the rest of that left-hand side anyways. But coming off that bottom now on my right-hand side, doing the same as that thing, just feeding on that top bevel, making sure I got a keyhole going, add enough wire into that keyhole. And I'll show you here in a minute, whenever I come to this other tack, how I consume it or weld over it really. Like I said, here's that tack coming up on it. Go ahead and pop out. And I just like to cut my tacks out with a zip wheel, and I'll try and dig those burrs out with a piece of tungsten or something. Going over the tacks, reconsuming the burrs. If you were lay wiring, you might not reconsume all of it. You might have a little burr stuck on the inside, but you can kind of go ahead of your puddle a little bit and consume those burrs, and just dipping right here because I don't want to add too much material because there's already some from that previous tag. But just open up keyhole, dab a little bit of metal in there, and keep moving forward. As you can see, that that quarter went in pretty good. You can see where I consumed that tack. It looks really good. And coming up on this top right hand quarter, gap closed up on me a good bit, and I'm just going to be dipping, keyhole dipping the rest of the way until I get to that top tack, and then I'll cut that tack out, and I'll show you how I tie in. So I'm coming up on the top here, getting ready to make that tie in. You want to make sure you turn your purge down to about 10, 15 CFH. Otherwise, you'll end up with a flush tie in, as well as when you're tying in, keep adding wire because if you don't, you end up with a flush tie in as well. So when you're tying in, watch your puddle grow. As soon as it starts growing, you see it swirling, dab some wire, move a little bit, dab some more wire, and keep dabbing wire as you trail out of that tie in. As you can see, the root went in pretty good. It looks a little dark. It's really not all that dark. You can see up there, our tie-in looks good. It's all broken down. There's no low spots. Pretty good looking root in there. Here's the outside of it. Got some decent color. It looks all right. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day.